I'm going to talk to you about some of the plants we have here at Camellia Forest. All of these are growing in our gardens. They've been growing here more or less for up to 35 or 40 years, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of our favorites. This is one of them. It's actually been growing here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina for over 100 years, or at least its ancestors have been. This is a clone that we recently named, finally. It used to be called Small Leaf because it has small leaves, but it got a name, Carolina Emerald, and it makes amazing green tea and pretty darn good black tea as well. Very aromatic. So this is a smaller plant, but it grows slowly, but it's super cold hardy. This is actually probably 1.5 to 2 years worth of growth. You'll need 3 to 5 years of growth before you can begin really harvesting, but this is a good place to start. So one of the others we've been growing and selling the longest here at Camellia Forest has been called large leaf. We now label it Tetraploid. It really needs a better name, but basically it has twice as much genetic material as the other plants, and it makes bigger, thicker leaves. And you can see some of the new growth that's already starting here in March in the greenhouses. You can see how big its buds are. We love it for white tea because of that reason. Then we have a really cool plant. We named it Fairhope, but it's actually a selection from Donnie Barrett down at Fairhope, Alabama. If you look him up, he has a really lovely story about how these are plants rescued from a tea research plantation. In our garden, they're super robust, they grow fast, they make a really good black tea and a pretty good green tea. They've proven to be fairly cold hardy, though we haven't any super cold winters. I think that they're really impressed me, and will do well for anybody who wants to harvest a lot of tea. One of the things we do specialize here at Camellia Forest are cold hardy plants, and these two plants are from Korean origins. One is from Chiri Mountain, which is sort of a sacred area where tea was originally brought for the emperor in Korea, you know, when it traveled along with Buddhism. And it's one of my favorites. And then a more recent acquisition, we have ones that we've named Gangwon-do, over where they came from in Korea. Some people who've been to Korea will know that it's near the demilitarized zone, so it's about as far north as you can get for tea plants growing in Korea. So they're both pretty vigorous for us, and they make good green tea and black tea. A couple other favorites of ours personally are Dave's Fave and Christine's Choice. I'm Christine. You know, she looks really good in the garden. I've seen it planted in an Oregon garden. It's just gorgeous, deep green color. So you can get a little leaf burn on this one in colder environments, like say in the full sun or on the sunny side. It'll just look a little burnt, but ooh, it loves the shade. Dave's Fave has a little bit rounder leaves, shorter internodes, might be good for a hedge plant. They make different tasting teas. The funny thing is that David liked the tea better from Dave's Fave, and I liked the tea better from Christine's Choice, but we didn't know. That was a blind taste test, so it's kind of interesting. This one made a slightly more astringent, brisk tea, and this one was very smooth and caramelly. And that was when they were processed side by side in the same exact way. Last but not least, we have several plants from the Black Sea region of Georgia. So some are Black Sea tea, others are called Sochi. They're all from the area near where the Sochi Winter Olympics were held in the Caucasus Mountains region. This is just a really nice specimen of an older plant that's been pruned well. It's a Sochi, and they are doing really well in colder environments. So up north, up as far as Maryland and up in the mountains, they seem to be doing well, along with the Korean, but it seems to be the preference, at least, of our Maryland customers. It also makes really good black tea. We found both the Black Sea tea and the Sochi plants make sort of a more robust, sometimes smoky flavored black tea. So if you have any questions about what plants might be best for you, we have descriptions all on the website for Cam Forest or Camellia Forest. The tea gardens also offer tours and tastings where we sit together while we're tasting tea and talk about your unique garden situation. And then we also have a Patreon where during our monthly sip and chats, I'm happy to consult with you and talk about your plants and what plants might do best for you in your environment.